We want to talk about some stocks on the move. Delta is bucking today's trend. Take a look at that, near 10%. Jimmy, I'll give this to you first. Strong outlook, record high for the stock today. What do you think here?
I think all things are going right at Delta. And, you know, one of the things that I look at first in the earnings report is what's the leverage. They paid down $3.6 billion in debt last year, from $21.6 to $18 billion in net debt. Probably going to do another $3 billion this year. Now, why does this matter? It matters because this is the means by which the multiple is going to re-rate. I do think as the debt continues to come down, this could go to a 10 multiple or higher. The guidance that Ed Bastian gave is $7.35 for this year. I think he's lowballing it. He knows better.
Lowballing. He said that this year is going to be their best year ever.
Yeah, well, it looks that way. But here's the thing. We all know this as airline investors. Things can get out of control. You think about fuel prices. Maybe they go higher. Maybe there's a turn down in the economy. None of us, including me, see it.
They own the refinery.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like
it is the best of the airlines.
Yeah.
Unequivocally, it's the best of the airlines in terms of how it's run, the customer experience. Just to summarize the point, this should trade at a 10 times multiple or higher. I think they're lowballing the earnings estimates, probably do $7.50. 75 becomes a target.
$4 billion in free cash flow next year, which would be 18% higher than 2024. How many forget that it's an airline. How many S&P 500 companies can you say that about? Not many.
I think what they have done better than any other airline is focus on the service of the customer.
Yes, absolutely.
And over the last several years, that was low-hanging fruit for the airline industry, and they've embraced that. I know people that will only fly Delta. Say to them,
I'm almost there.
You're going to Toronto, fly Air Canada. No, I got to find a Delta flight. And I think that's exactly what they have done. I was as skeptical when the rules took the strategy into these airline names. I was as skeptical as any position that we've ever held. I was, airlines, are you kidding me? But United Airlines, Delta Airlines, kudos, Jimmy, you've nailed these fundamentally all the way up. They have performed, they have worked well. And what's interesting about it is I keep hearing about all the concerns surrounding inflation and the impact of inflation on business travelers and consumers. It's just not happening.
Well, I was going to say, you guys are waxing poetic over here about Bastion. Scott Kirby's throwing something at the television and say, what about us? Man, look at the stock chart. Look at United over 12 months.
You know what's not working?
That's the best performer.
JetBlue, because this is about the use. JetBlue has the worst record of on-time departures of any of the airlines. They just got a big fine over it last week.
Remember when it was the startup? Remember when it was yeah, exactly. But look, I want to be careful here. I do think there has been a fundamental change in the airline industry, the biggest of which is restructuring the cabins. You go back 10 years ago, this was all about business travel, charge multiple thousands of dollars to fly across country. Now it's not that anymore. It's charged maybe $1,000 to get in that premium select, economy plus, whatever you call it. That's where these companies are making money. And I have to give it to management, whether it's Scott Kirby or Bastian or the rest of them who have done this, because go back 4 years ago, in the heart of the pandemic, everybody said these things were dead. Business travel is never coming back. We're doing Zoom. They figured it out. Kudos to them.
All right, Constellation Energy, they're officially now buying Calpine, 26.6 bill. Record high for that stock today. Joe, you own it.
I do. We spoke about this the other day. When the story broke.
Yeah, and the stock was down then.
The stock was $229 at the time, and we talked about that being an opportunity. I think there's something really important for investors to understand, and that is that the utility sector in 2024 awakened, and it awakened in a magnitude as it relates to investor opportunity that sector has never seen before. And I think it's a secular story. I think now investors have to understand that the utility sector is part of the AI story. And that's going to continue to play out.
Now. I think it's well known.
So in a lot of conversations that I have had with advisors in 2024, when I talk about utilities and I say you need to own utilities, they'll say, this is just a one-year fad. They're just reacting to some partnerships like we saw with Constellation and Microsoft. No, I think it's more than that. I think this is a big story that's going to play out over the coming years. And I think that having utilities in your portfolio is not something which it's been in the past, where it's something where you dismiss.
Wynn Resorts, they're buying Crown London from Blackstone. Jimmy, you own that. Big disappointment, this stock.
It has been a big disappointment. And, you know, I was talking with Patty, the producer, this morning, and she said, well, is it under review? And I said to her, and I'm saying to everybody now, yes, it's under review. Here's my review. The company continues to generate fabulous operating reports, and the share price stinks. It sucks. And I know that. I'm going to stick with it because, again, just going back to, I look forward, these these operating results seem like they're going to continue, whether it's Las Vegas, the pickup in Macau, the Dubai operations that should start next year. And I think that it's pretty soon that all of this will get priced into the stock. I can't tell you the exact timing, but the operational results are there to keep me in the name.
Okay. That's great. Sweetgreen upgraded to buy today. That's at City. Josh, you sold it in November, and the stock's down almost 20% since then. But you want to talk about it?
Yeah, when I sold it, I basically said it was a consequence of how much it had run. Longtime viewers of the show understand that on trades, I'm usually rolling a stop higher as they work. I'm reviewing my stops each Friday. And what I don't want to do is turn winners into losers. Doesn't mean it's off my screen. Doesn't mean it's out of the question for me to get back in. I'm just not currently in. I do like the story a lot, and I do think that there are some interesting aspects to the story, including robot salad makers, which, if you want to go see one, I think the one at One Penn Plaza in New York, you can literally see this thing churning out like 100 salads an hour.
You pop in there before the Knicks?
I'm not a big salad guy, Scott, but I'm going to do Ciciamo tonight, actually, before the Knicks. So shout out to Danny Meyer. But look, Sweetgreen's an interesting name from that standpoint, but it's going to have its ups and downs. And right now, it's in a down, and I don't own it currently.
What about BSX? That's Boston Scientific, upgraded today at Deutsche. They had a hold on it. They put buy now.
That's good.
Price target to 108 from 87.
So this is a stock, and we often talk about this on the show. You want to look at relative performance. You want to look at an individual stock versus the sector. What does the performance look like? And in a year of 2024 where healthcare underperformed, you saw a Boston Scientific actually outperform along with Intuitive Surgical. We own both those names in the ETF. It plays exactly into, I keep mentioning what Adam Parker's talked about, owning healthcare. It plays into it. And I think where we are today, January 10th, after the unemployment report, we really are in the midst of an internal rotation within the market that's going to favor energy, going to favor healthcare.
Okay.